Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones.
Good evening, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my special guest is Eddy Mann. Eddy, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, pleasure to have you. So let's get right off and start talking about the new album called The Consequence. Now, I want to know just what, because I read over your bio, and I just want to kind of know what your songwriting process is, because it touched a little bit on it, but not too much. Do you kind of do bit by bit by bit, or do you have it all written out, then kind of work on it later? How does that work for you?
I tend to write in what I call seasons. So when it comes time to record, I can go back and kind of look at the collection of songs that I've written over the past whatever period of time and draw from them. I don't usually have once in a while I have a preconceived idea. Dig Love, the last album, was not. It was just kind of a result of watching the world kind of fall apart on TV and radio. So it was kind of a response to that I just, I saw this negativity, and I really ended up writing a lot of songs that were from maybe an idyllic, peaceful type of place, more compassionate look at the world. And so conceptually that came together very quickly. The Consequence was kind of the same thing. I think that in the afterthought of Dig Love and performing it live as I have for the past year, I found myself writing some songs that were a little bit deeper and not just looking at not the dark side of love, or not the dark side of peacefulness, but we all have that in our lives. Just being a loving person doesn't mean that you're not going to have down times, you're not going to have hard times, you're not going to have difficult things to get through. So the songs deal with, I think, the power of love in those situations.
Very cool. Now, that being said, with some of this, we'll just put it this way: not just the songs on this album, but the songs on the last album as well. When those songs were written, did you ever kind of go back and reconstruct them a little bit, or ever think, this song's not quite finished, so I'm going to try it over again, or just going to add some new stuff?
I think that my approach to songs are kind of like, if you think of children constantly growing and constantly changing and maturing, for me, songs are the same way. They're never actually finished. I could record them forever. So at some point, you got to open the door and you got to let your kids go, and that's kind of how the songs are. When I release an album, I'm just kind of saying, okay, here they are. I'm putting them out to the world. But when we go to perform them, if I'm playing solo or with the band, they're constantly changing. They're very rarely the same from night to night in a live. Now, I haven't done a live album. If I did a live album, you would hear the difference in arrangements that the songs have undertaken over the past year of playing them out.
Well, you know what? That's the fun part about being live, is it's a whole different beast altogether. Because
absolutely. And the longer you have, when I'm performing solo, it's easy for me to just take a right turn and go anywhere.
Right.
But for my band, because they've been with me for a period of time now, they've kind of, I don't want to say accepted it, but they've learned that, these are kind of free flowing on any given night. I may go in a different direction, or we may break down a section of the song that we did, the week before, or the night before.
So in other words, they have to be ready for a sort of a quick change up.
Yeah, I think I needed to find players that were comfortable in that environment because some aren't. Some want an arrangement that they're going to stick to every night, and everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's wired a little bit different, and for me, I'm always looking for change. I'm always looking to be inspired by something new. So it was natural for me in a live environment to kind of go in the same direction.
Well, that's really cool because I kind of like how it works because it gives that added excitement to the show. And especially with people who have gone out and seen you before, just like you said, I've changed from one night to the next. They see you one night, they hear one show, the next night's a completely different show. I mean, it's like seeing it for the first time all over again. So it's kind of a good aspect, a good way to take things live.
Yeah, I think it is with the band too. I think it keeps the band a little more energized and a little bit more inspired. And we're not. I mean, I'm not touring heavy or anything like that, but still, you're playing an album and you're kind of promoting an album for a year or year and a half. It can get, you can have down nights or off nights if you're going kind of by the book or kind of by the arrangement. So I try to keep it fresh.
Well, and with that being said too, even if you're not touring heavy, at least this keeps things interesting. Doesn't become stagnant after a while. Absolutely. And I think would make a huge difference, especially if there's let's say the title track or the first single off the album. It's one of those things, and a lot of bands have admitted to it because after a while they get sick of playing it over and over again, right? But it's a fan favorite, so they play it anyways. But with you changing it up and giving it a different spin to it, then it can seem to me be a lot more interesting, so you wouldn't get bored of it as quickly.
Yeah, I think for most people, I think they enjoy that. There's always some that they want to hear. They want to hear things exactly how they heard them on the album, or that's been the case all throughout history. I think that's kind of been the case. Some people are just they want to hear it copied note for note, and others really get lit up when they hear it, taking some new life.
Myself personally as well, like I really enjoy a switch up to it, just because it shows to me personally. It shows more musicianship that they're willing to do something a little bit different and not kind of keep it to the format that was preconceived or pre-done on the album already.
Well, if you have an audience that follows you around, I think that comes out and hears you often, I think it's a little bit more personal for them because you're kind of inviting them on the journey with you.
Right.
If they haven't heard you go this place before, they know. They know when you're kind of taking off in water that's uncharted.
Right.
So I think that's cool.
Well, we're going to get to a song here off the album, The Consequence, and this is the one that stuck out to me the most, and this one's called Another Trip Around the Sun. This is Eddy Mann. Dig this.
8,760 hours, soldiering on without haste, moving into the new with an awareness of the past and the guilty pleasures of waste. Face to the past, to the future. Time doesn't wait for a start. Moving through a door from one side to the other. Peace lays heavy on my heart. Another trip around the sun, and what have I done? Are there lives that are better for knowing me? Another trip around the sun, and what have I done? Is the world a better place for us to be? trip around the sun, and what have I done? Are there lives that are better for knowing me? Another trip around the sun, and what have I done? Is the world a better place for us to be? With just one voice, love can be heard. With just one hand, love can be felt. With just one smile, love can be seen. With just one heart, change can begin. Dig love, 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 dig
All right, that was Eddy Mann with Another Trip Around the Sun, and that was off the previous album, Dig Love. That was my error, so I do apologize, but we're listening to songs of Dig Love, and it doesn't matter because it's a fantastic album, so, it's a win-win. It just just a clerical error on my part, so.
No, I don't get a chance. Not a lot of people play that song, and it's a favorite of mine. It's a typical example of a song that I wrote and recorded with a very kind of airy, dreamy kind of ending to it. What about if? And it's turned live. It's very heavy, very loud, kind of more of an assertive statement when we do it. So it's one of those songs that has grown a great deal in the live setting.
So the fade out can change quite a bit then, eh?
You wouldn't recognize it now.
Oh, really? Right on. Well, you know what? Like I said, this out of all the songs, this is the one that stuck out to me. And I really got into it right away.
It's just my answer to New Year's resolutions.
Oh.
I wrote it around that time of year. I wrote it in December, and normally when people are thinking about the resolution that they're not going to keep the next year, I kind of sat. I was sitting in kind of contemplative mood, and I'm sitting around thinking not about what I want to change, but what have I actually done the past year? Have I done anything that was worthwhile? So, that was a lot heavier statement.